I am back with my man Kyle Forrest from Deloitte. This is not his first time on the show. It's not his second time. It actually might be your third official time. I'm gonna have to go back. I think when you hit 5, you get a green jacket.
I have the T-shirt, so if I graduate from the T-shirt to the jacket, I know I'm going places.
We're gonna. So what's different this year, man?
Adam, I would say what's different this year is a year ago, being out at the conference circuit, Transform, others, most of the conversation was around AI products and features. What is different now is everyone is talking about what work should be done by humans and how do you actually invest in all of those uniquely human things that are really what we all want to be spending on our time on.
And what are some of those uniquely human things that AI can't do?
Many. Most simply, it can't be in every single meeting you're in.
By side note, I love kicking my AI note taker out of. I feel like it's so empowering when I get to kick my AI note taker out of the meeting.
Yeah, I met someone last night who, because of the regulated businesses they're in, they can't even join a meeting that has an AI note taker.
Ooh.
Period. Right.
Right.
But look, I think AI has been trained on the body of human knowledge. And it has not come up with novel net new things. So at a bare minimum, we are still going to be around innovating on fun new things that we could do for ourselves, for our teams, for our companies, and our communities.
Absolutely. So you have your finger on the pulse of what's happening out there. And we're with our friends Overalls over here. We're talking about benefits. Generally speaking, you have a very unique perspective as a consultant. How important are benefits in the world of total comp?
Important.
Okay. Aside from medical, dental, and vision, how important are other benefits in total comp consideration, from candidate experience? How important are those factors? What are you seeing out there?
Very important. And there's a few things that I'll share to elaborate on that. So first of all, as you think about the fact that the 4 different generations we have in the workplace, all of them through various studies, whether Deloitte's Gen Z and Millennial survey, others, they all acknowledge that pay by itself is not the thing that
it's not the core motivator,
brings them
right?
to work, right? It is total comp. It is things like purpose. And especially when you think about Gen Z, think about financial well-being, mental well-being, right? And so you need benefits that are catering to the purpose that individuals feel and their, how they relate to certain of those topics. Mm-hmm. So when I look at, the tremendous strides organizations have made on mental well-being in the past few years, largely because of Gen Z entering the workforce and their comfort level with that dialogue, right? That becomes a huge differentiator for organizations. And there's a lot of research that acknowledges stress impacts your ability to be a productive, engaged worker. Well, so if you are able to handle mental well-being, like it ties to business outcome.
Well, that leads me to the whole concept of these benefits being value of time and stress removal. And you hit another piece too. Let's talk about the aging workforce and aging parents too. It's going to get really hard. It is really hard right now for employees to navigate having to take care of elderly relatives.
Yep.
And if a company offers something like that as a benefit, and not just like the time off benefit,
yep,
but what if we had a service that says, we're going to help you navigate that? I have no idea. I got to put my parents, God forbid, into a hospice or an elder care or helping to navigate that. How strong of a benefit do you think that's going to be in folks making a decision?
I think with the increase of the people who are in what's called the sandwich generation, right, navigating both caring for kids plus elderly parents, anything that helps alleviate the stress of going through that is going to be viewed as hugely, hugely beneficial, right? And I feel like I'm trying not to use the word beneficial while we're talking about benefits.
Okay,
no pun intended. Yeah. But and I think there are people who are absolutely, when they hear from peers, hear from friends and community, like, oh, my company offers me this that helps me navigate that. It's critical.
That's part of the employer branding and candidate branding experience there too. And the other one too is like offering benefits that take the burden off of HR having to answer questions. How do I find this? How do I do that? How do I navigate our internal, medical health and wellness thing too? How do you define the modern role of HR these days? What's modern HR look like? What's their role? What are they supposed to do?
Yeah. Well, actually, so it's almost 100 years since like the birth of the profession, right? Personnel to how it's evolved. what has stayed true through most of that time has been a focus on helping navigate answers to questions, helping get paid, helping use your benefits, right?
Right.
Satisfying core needs.
HR is not TA. TA is not HR anymore.
Yep. So if you think about the modern role of the profession, right, is trying to actually continue to make it simpler for workers to navigate those kind of topics and questions, spending less time as a human HR professional on having to answer the inquiries, and then more time actually with the business leader saying, if you got 1,000 people in this business unit, it's in these types of jobs. Well, what benefits are actually most important for this workforce mix? How can we get more personalized with the benefits offerings for your workforce mix
Right.
to deliver on value to you as a leader?
Exactly. What are some of those cool benefits that you've seen companies offer that might be out of the box, outside the box?
So I'll give you a couple. One is actually in the realm of I'll call it fertility benefits broadly, but it's not just the traditional helping with the fertility journey, but being able to actually pay for things like the healing journey of the mother and having like in-home help, right? Because there is the journey to having a child. And then once you've had the child, there's the journey to healing, recovering, becoming a parent, right? And actually, that's where tremendous amount of opportunity exists. And we've seen tremendous amount of money getting put into the women's health system. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
This is, and I hate to be morbid or dark too, but there's another side of it too. Unfortunately, when a mother loses a child, especially during IVF or something where it doesn't stick, how their employer is there for them, how much time they give them. And I think that is a real difference maker that current employees see, that future employees, because word of mouth spreads, especially viral on social media.
Yep.
People will share a very good story and people will share a absolute terrible story. Let's talk about the ROI, the justification, the business side of it too. There's a cost to these benefits.
Sure.
How do you work with your clients in justifying let's take a step back. What is that mindset and thought process to justifying the cost of benefits?
So most simply, organizations know that there's a cost to not being able to fill roles quickly, right? You want to hire and it takes you too long.
Right, then attrition, we know that.
There's a cost to if your attrition rate's up. And so if you can design the right mix of benefits that increases your time to hire or keeps your attrition rate down, that has a measurable business outcome, right? Either I'm selling more, I'm selling faster, I'm not missing out on sales because roles weren't unfilled, right? So there is a direct impact that you can help close out.
I love that impact too. It's a missed opportunity impact. That's why I like to look at it. What's one of the coolest benefits that you've seen, like a cool benefit that you've seen a company offer?
I would say one of the really interesting things right now, and it ties to mental well-being, is like performance psychology coaching, which is a little bit different from just like
Guardians, right? Like having what's her name? Right, you know what I'm talking about, right?
But it's different from mental health services at large, and acknowledging
Performance coaching.
there's a lot of lessons learned from coaches who work with athletes, right? Mm-hmm. How do you show up and navigate stressful moments, right? And so that's been a really unique one.
That's awesome. Looking around the room here, I feel like we just blinked our eyes and we're back again. It happens every year. I personally feel that, yes, now AI is part of everything. We can move on from the AI conversation. Without naming names here, what's one cool evolution, innovation on the TA tech side that you're like, oh, that's interesting?
On the TA tech side,
I mean, you could throw some flowers if you want, but you don't have to.
What I would say is acknowledging that there's a lot of different aspects of the talent acquisition, landscape. Being able to do an interview, get some skills assessment, and as a working parent, I might do it at 5:30 a.m. when I'm walking the dog. And can that accelerate me getting uncovered or discovered by a recruiter, right? Or in the evening, right after my kids are to bed, or whatever it may be, right?
On your time.
And so that it's on your time. And so I've heard from a number of companies who using things like that. They're like, we have a hard time getting through our candidates as it is. Getting a faster path to, candidate through initial staging is uncovering some maybe people who wouldn't have otherwise made it through a process.
See, I absolutely love that. With a lot of these tools that are out there, Almost every candidate has a chance to interview. Almost every candidate has the opportunity to see if they truly qualify by going through this process, and they can interview at any time of day. So you're declogging the pipeline.
Right.
Well, Kyle Forrest, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Our annual check-in here. Where can folks find you? Where can they connect? Where can they learn more?
Feel free to follow on LinkedIn. Otherwise, check out our Insights to Action platform at Deloitte, which is where we share a lot of our latest research and insights along the way.
And we will link that up in the comments. Kyle Forrest, everybody.
All right. Thank you,
Back on
Adam.
the podcast, Transform 2026. Thank you, folks.